Hey guys, and welcome. Today we got ourselves another movie review. Today I went to go see TMNT 2. Yes, what can I say about the movie? Definitely disappointing. Wasn't as good as the first one, which wasn't that great. It was alright. And Roxanne and Bebop, their intelligence level, of course, they're not smart, but they really played it up to them being complete utter morons. It wasn't a good combination. It was pretty much It was really bad. It was really bad. I didn't like it. I did like the special effects of how they looked and everything like that. The whole transformation into, them becoming Rocksteady and Bebop, the Rhino and the Warthog. And it was pretty cool. They never explained how Shredder, looked younger. They didn't explain any of that. They didn't do any backstory to that. So basically they left that to they don't explain none of it. So basically it's kind of like, after the first events, it's like, come on, you can't explain, no explanation whatsoever. That kind of baffles me, and I was disappointed with that fact alone. Then you have, Shredder breaking out of prison. He's working with Baxter Stockman, and they made Baxter Stockman like an uber nerd that's basically a stereotypical nerd. It was just over the top, just they could have made him better. It could have been a cooler version. It could have been better. They just went over the top with a lot of the stuff that they did, and it was really bad. I did not like that at all. Krang came out pretty amazing. I loved him. I think the way they changed Krang around and made him more badass in this one than did in the cartoon was amazing. That was the only thing they did better than expected. Because the cartoons, him and Shredder become friends and stuff like that. They work together, but he was more ruthless in this than he was in the animated series, which was amazing. I loved it. And that's what I liked. And of course, he's a lot bigger too, which was pretty cool. There was a lot of things like that. The Technodrome was pretty much exactly like it was in the cartoon. The big old eye on the top. The only problem I had with it was him, Technodrome being transported to Earth, was in segmented pieces. It was kind of I don't know. That disappointed me because I'm like, wait a minute. You mean it couldn't just transfer it all in one moment instead of it's just segments and then rebuilding and stuff? That part right there was I don't know. That could have been done a little bit differently, a little bit better. That was it. The fight sequence between Krang and the turtles was pretty cool, but it was quick. It was really quick, and that was disappointing. Could have been a little bit better, a little bit longer, and it was just quick. And of course, we have a different voice for Splinter. I didn't get the name of who played him, but yeah, it was different. It just, I don't know. It was very different. Casey Jones. Now, he gets introduced in this movie, and now he's a correctional officer. I guess that's one way to fit him into the story, instead of just having to be a regular vigilante off the streets that's just, just a badass. But no, they changed that around. I don't know. They didn't make him a tough guy like he could have been. He was just, I don't know. It just could have been better. That could have been better. That's one thing. There's a lot of different things here and there that could have been better. I think they could have handled the movie just a little bit better. But who knows? They might do very well with the younger demographics. 13 and under might like it better. Maybe some of the teens. But all in all, I think this movie was a high disappointment. It was very high disappointment. And I didn't think it was going to be, as bad as it was going to be. And the story was exactly the way I had said it was going to be. Have the Technodrome come at the end to set up another movie for the third one, which, it might as well be. And in the Technodrome, you actually see a bunch of different people that Krang has collected. He's collected a bunch of people. So they're frozen, and I didn't get a chance to see every single one of them because it went pretty quickly, but who knows who he has in there. And, yeah, I don't know. Another thing I didn't like was the transformation on how they transformed Roxanne and Bebop into who they are. Krang gave Shredder this purple ooze to help him create these super soldiers or super foot. And it was very disappointing because it wasn't the ooze like they use in the cartoons and stuff. It was just this purple stuff, and they give it to them and inject them, and they transform. And basically, Baxter Stockman says that it is a hidden factor in our DNA, revert back to, or basically unlock the animal that we had transformed from. I'm like, really? Is that what you're gonna do instead of like doing genetic mutations with rhino and human, or warthog and human? That really that's what you're going with? That I felt was like lazy writing, and they just didn't like it. I thought it was terrible. That was the lazy way out. Really, really lazy way out. Yeah, I just think that was just really poorly handled, and things like that were just not done very well. We'll have to wait and see what the final tally is at the box office weekend. But all in all, I gotta say is that this movie is definitely not worth checking out. It was very disappointing. If you like the first one, you'll be let down with this one. Definitely had a lot of comedic moments. Don't get me wrong, but and it's, of course, it's definitely lighter than the first one. But don't get me wrong. I mean, if you go in there, not expecting much, you're gonna enjoy this movie thoroughly. There was a lot of nostalgic moments for me when I was watching. I was like, it was pretty cool, but all in all, this movie was not as great as it could have been, and it was a big letdown, in my opinion. They do a Vanilla Ice reference, basically, and I was like, really, there's things like that that really didn't need to be done, but they did it anyways. Let me know your thoughts so far. If you've seen it or not. Let me know in the comments below whether or not if you even checked it out, or if you said that the first one, you're like, I'm done, not even gonna bother. But yeah, and I even have a blog. I'm gonna write out more of what I thought about the movie in that, and that'll be in the description below. But let me know your thoughts if you saw the movie and what you thought of it. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.